Hi, everybody. It is episode 577 of PodQuest.
Hey.
It is Wednesday, September 3rd, 2025. I am Chris, with me is Druten
Hello.
and Walnut.
Yeah, I'm here.
How's everybody doing?
Not too bad.
Surviving.
It's all you can hope for. It's all you can hope for.
Yeah, really. You're pretty much. I went and saw the doctor on Friday. I was telling him some things, and I was like, yeah, I've just been tired and exhausted and drained lately. And he's like, well, we could do a sleep study. I'm like, it's not sleep, doc. He's like, what do you think it is? I'm like, mental health. And he's like, yeah, you're gonna... He doesn't... He's very old school, so I don't think... It's not that he doesn't prescribe to mental health, but, like, he doesn't know how to help. And he's like, well,
general practice doctors.
Yeah.
Also. That's just not what
he's been like, what's going on? I'm like, everything. He's like, oh yeah, everything, pretty much everything you can't do anything about. And I'm like, yeah, pretty much, but it sucks and it's exhausting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That is unfortunately life, man. It sucks us all the time. You just gotta
that and the Wonder BS with what I'm dealing with at work right now is wonderful.
I mean, your work is just its own bag of nightmares.
So to get on a little side tangent, we are currently in the middle. We need to process a ton of loans by the end of the month because our client is saying it needs to be done by the end of the month. And so in order for us to get this done, they have enacted for our department a competition to see who can be the better performer so that we can reach our numbers. But it's not a merit-based competition. It's not like, oh, so-and-so did X amount of loans, so therefore so-and-so gets an entry today or whatever, or gets like a gold star. No, it's each department, their team lead has to call out somebody in their group to say, hey, this person did really good today. That person did really good today. This person busted their butt today. And if so, then all the team leads will then vote whether or not they think the people who have been nominated that day, that's the word I'm looking for, deserves an entry into this competition. So it's subjective on whether your boss thinks you did hard enough work, and then subjective on whether or not your team the community, the leadership thinks you did hard enough work. And then if you do happen to get that gold star, then you get an additional entry into winning a random drawing.
That all sounds terrible.
Yeah, so even if you are the best performer and you get your name pulled and say 5 times out of the week they put you in, there's still a chance you won't win that money. And it's money that they're giving away this time. It's a $2,500 bonus. Rather than, just giving everyone a bonus if we reach our goals.
Right.
No, they have to gamify it because they don't actually want to give out any.
No, it's ridiculous. I'm not happy about it.
Nor should you be.
No.
But enough of that sadness.
Yeah.
On the agenda.
So this week, we all should have watched Muppet Treasure Island. Cobb, you read some books that we didn't talk about last week, and I 100% of Doom the Dark Ages by accident. So I never have to play it again. Cobb, check your mic input for Discord. You sound very far away.
Well, I still don't actually have a computer set up, so
okay.
Like I'm literally I have a wireless headset, so
okay. That's all. You sounded a little bit further away. That's all.
Yeah, I'm double checking just to make sure it didn't change the input. Yeah, no, it's the headset I'm wearing. I think that the ear with the microphone I had slightly off my head.
Yeah, it sounds better. It sounds better
back
now that I brought it up.
Yeah, so so the mic is probably in the right headphone, and I had that one like pushed off my ear behind my head a little bit because they're noise canceling. So I wanted to be able to hear what was going on around me as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Muppet Treasure Island, everyone.
It was a Muppet movie.
It was a Muppet movie. To be honest, I was able to focus in on about straight up 45 minutes of it because I was running some automated scripting at that time. Because I kind of forgot. So I was watching it today, and I was able to focus on about 45 minutes of it, and I was kind of bored. For like up until they left was boring. And even then, like, I don't know, it didn't click with me. It didn't click with me. the movie.
Didn't you also not like the Muppet movie?
I don't know if I didn't not like it, or if I didn't like it, but like, yeah, I remember it wasn't my favorite thing. I also I remember loving the Muppets. I don't recall ever watching any of the old school Muppet movies. So like, I remember like the Muppet Show and like the cartoons and stuff more so than anything else. So I had no nostalgia for these. And I wanted to watch it, but I don't know. This movie just like, yeah, for the first half of it, I was just like kind of bored. And like, unfortunately, kind of checked out and just listened to it more so than anything else the rest of the time.
Yeah, so what I'm gathering is you don't like the Muppets.
I love the Muppets. I loved the newer movies.
Yeah, those aren't Muppet movies. Those are Jason Segel movies.
They're Muppet movies. Like they were. It was called the Muppets. And I am so mad that they canceled the Muppet TV show after one season or two seasons, whatever it was. That was like peak humor, in my opinion. Like, that was a great show. It just didn't do Office numbers, so they didn't keep it going.
That was also very modern Muppets, not like the classic stuff. That's what I mean. But, like, you don't seem to enjoy classic Muppets.
But I loved the Muppet Show growing up.
The one from the 90s or the like original?
Like the TV show that they had.
Yeah, there were two. There was an original one in like the 70s and 80s, and then there was the revival.
I don't know, man. I just
90s.
Remember watching the Muppet Show when growing up. I don't know what era it was on. I don't know if it was reruns or not. I just remember watching the Muppets.
It was probably the one from the 90s.
Probably.
Yeah, so like, it's okay. You don't like the Muppets. It's fine.
No, like that's the Muppet Show. The Muppet Show is a different beast than the Muppet movies, and that's the thing. Like, I watch Muppets for variety show and stuff like that, and when it sticks to, like, there was some meta humor in it that I thought was funny, and it was like the whole, like, the rats on the resort and whatnot. Basically, they were on vacation, and I was like, all right, that's funny and silly. Statler and Waldorf showing up as the figureheads and catching them, and it's like, we saved the movie, or it was the only way we could save this movie, or whatever. Or no, we saved the pig and the frog, but we couldn't save the movie, is what they said. And like, that stuff I liked, and it was like there was some stuff that I found fun, but like, I don't know, it just, the first half of it was boring. That kind of pushed me to check out for the second half.
It's okay to not like the Muppets, Rich.
I like the Muppets. Don't say that. I love them.
Drew, what did you think?
I mean, I enjoyed it. I was debating which of this or Christmas Carol I like better.
Definitely Christmas Carol.
Yeah, I tend to I'm leaning that way. I'm also pretty sure they reused like the same set, at least at the one part where they're going like to the boat for the first time.
Yeah, that I think so.
I was like, that looks like the freaking Christmas Carol set.
Because I want to say the Christmas Carol was just like a year or two earlier. Like, this was 96.
So Christmas Carol was 92, but Treasure Island apparently took a while to actually come out.
Okay, that tracks a little bit. But also Treasure Island had Tim Curry, so
it did,
and his sword battle with Kermit at the end was fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, other than that, like, I thought it was enjoyable. Like, there's not a whole lot to say about it. It was a Muppet retelling mostly of Treasure Island. Like, It's not beat for beat or anything, but like all the major players are there plus Gonzo.
Yeah,
which I did think it's funny that like some of the Muppets are just themselves, and then some of them are like the different characters.
Well, I mean, I think it was just Gonzo and Rizzo or I guess Sweetums was just Sweetums, right? But
no, actually, I think Sweetums was actually supposed to be somebody too.
Did Sweetums really have a name? Was Sweetums like a named character, or was Sweetums just there?
I mean, he was on the roll call.
Okay.
As just Sweetums, and then everyone was kind of... I feel like everyone was surprised that was his name. That might have been the first time he was ever named.
No.
Probably not, but...
7191. John Henson apparently was his puppeteer during this. Huh. All right, then. But yeah, like, I thought it was an enjoyable movie. Like, it's not as good as A Christmas Carol or, in my opinion, like the original Muppets. But like, I still thought it was fun.
So filming for this started fall of '93 in London. I don't know when and where filming was for Christmas Carol. Probably London.
Yeah, probably. That would make sense. But yeah. So do we not really have anything to say about the Muppet Treasure Island?
Not really. Like,
Yeah, unfortunately, like, yeah, it's a Muppet movie, so like, it's not like a piece of art. It's not like a fantastic. It's not like the greatest thing.
How
It's like
dare you?
it's just it's a kids movie that like it's good for kids, and like, look, it was fine. It was fine. I
Right.
have similar feelings of this as I do with Doom: The Dark Ages. This is completely mediocre and absolutely fine in what it was.
Says the not Muppet fan.
Man, don't be putting words in my mouth. I love the Muppets.
You put those own words in your mouth. You like modern Muppets and modern Muppets only. You probably don't even like the original
you mean
Muppet
the 90s,
Babies.
I guess. Muppet Babies was great. The original Muppet Babies was amazing.
No, you probably
Okay?
like the weird CG new one.
No, gross. No. Kids TV nowadays is just so weird. There's a Mickey Mouse show that has the weirdest art style, and I hate it.
That there are some weird looking cartoons out there now. That is very true. But yeah, so I guess it's just time for the next pick then.
And Christmas Carol also was filmed. Production took place at the Shepperton Studios in England. So yeah, they were probably both filmed at the same place. So it's very likely they had the same set, or at least same set design or designer. So that
they almost certainly reuse some of the sets too if they were filmed that close together, because it's easier.
It's 90 and 93, so it's not really that close to each other.
It's close enough though, and frankly, like, what was probably happening was, while this one was in pre-production, while Treasure Island was in pre-production, they were probably filming A Christmas Carol.
No, they didn't even start talking about Treasure Island until after the release of Christmas Carol.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah. It was according to Treasure Island's wiki, it was decided following the release of Christmas Carol, it was decided the next Muppet movie would be an adaptation of the classic story.
Okay.
So it was this. They didn't even start pre-production until after the movie was released.
Okay. Well, never mind then. It still wouldn't surprise me if they reuse some of the sets, because generally they don't just burn that stuff down. Like, you can often see different sets in like just totally different movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean it is these sets. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not like saying you're absolutely wrong. Like, these sets, like, according to like wiki, like, these sets were also specifically designed for Muppet movies, because they have to look like they're sized for both the Muppets and humans and stuff. So it's like,
and
they're
like,
a little bit more
Muppets.
niche. So like, it is possible, because it's so niche, they might have torn them down, but also, you never know. The studios
also, conversely, like, because it's so niche, and it wasn't that long between the end of doing Christmas Carol and then being like, we're going to do another Muppet movie, that they very likely could not have torn them down, because it's like, hey, we might need this again, and rather than rebuild everything here, it's like reusable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Because and honestly, like they were fun sets. So
yeah,
why not?
Yeah,
why not? Indeed. All right. So where are we at? Already said. All right. So for the next one, then, I spent some time today, like, looking through things, and honestly, the only thing I could find that like was available on like a common streaming thing, is actually the Boondock Saints, because with the Billy Connolly connection.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna do the Boondock Saints.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, we have to think strategically. So Boondock Saints, honestly, there's just not a lot of like mainstream actors in Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah,
so
but I was even looking at like the people that were in it, plus like the puppeteers, because a lot of those guys like do stuff other than just the Muppets. Like Frank Oz, like, has been in all sorts of stuff, and I could have easily done like Star Wars again, but that seems silly.
Yeah.
So like looking through it, like Boondock Saints just made the most sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, 2 weeks we'll watch Boondock Saints, and then Drew, you will have your pick, where you can use Willem Dafoe if you'd like.
I mean, it's almost certainly going to have to be either Willem Dafoe or Norman Reedus.
I feel like there's a few other people in that movie that have like popped up in things.
Yeah, I mean,
right.
It's quite possible some of the others are like character actors in a lot more shit than I know offhand.
Yeah, exactly. I was gonna actually do Boondock Saints 2, but it's not streaming anywhere. It's only like rent and buy. So we're doing the first one. All right. And what do we got next? Oh, all right. So last week, we didn't get a chance to talk about this, but a couple weeks ago, I read the last couple of books in a trilogy called The Rook and the Rose. No. Um, so fantasy series set in what kind of almost feels like it's supposed to be like Italy in a lot of ways. Um, and it follows this character who she is a thief and a con artist, and initially she grew up as part of like basically like a group of like juvenile thieves that were like run by like an adult who like abused and treated them all like shit. And she ended up escaping with her adopted siblings from that and kind of like taking off. And, a decade later, they come back to the city with this grand plan that they are going to get her set up to be adopted by one of the noble houses by pretending to be like a long lost relative. And like it goes okay for a little while, before just like a lot of other issues kind of start developing in the city. Um, and so this main character, she ends up having like four different kind of like identities that she has to like cycle throughout it. So she has this like long lost noble. She's got like her actual identity, which is a thief and a con artist. She's got one where she's basically like a street fortune teller. Like she does like tarot card readings on like the street. Because that is a big thing in this world. Like people actually put a lot of like faith behind like these card readings that this one specific region of people do. That beyond that they're treated like shit, but like they really really take them at their word for all their card reading. And then at the end of the first book, she also ends up with not superpowers, but like special abilities, let's call them. It's a fantasy book. There's like some level of magic, and the magic in this is initially drug based. So like people will take like an hallucinogenic, and it will allow them to kind of like see into their dreams in a way. And she gets dosed with like too much of it, and did not know she was being dosed with it, and she actually gets pulled into a dream or into this like dream world. And in that, she ends up getting this mask that lets her turn into a fourth character that they call the Black Rose, kind of like Sailor Moon. And she doesn't really get like she's not like super strong or like doing anything crazy, but like she's definitely got like more agility, and she can kind of like pick her way through like the shadows a little bit more. And so the whole trilogy is kind of her balancing these like four identities while both trying to like finish her con, but also like help the city and like the common people that are just getting shit on all the time, because those are technically her people. I'm probably not doing the best job pitching this, but it was really good. It had a lot of characters that were both like just awful pieces of shit, but still really endearing to read about. Like almost everybody in the book is kind of an asshole at one point or another, but then they'll also do something where you're like, okay, you're not a villain, you're just kind of an asshole. I'm trying to think anything else. And then so the other side of it is, so the trilogy is called The Rook and the Rose. So she becomes the Black Rose, and the Rook is sort of this mythological vigilante that has been around for 200 years. Nobody knows their identity, and they kind of have a vendetta against the nobles. So the Rook just kind of like pops up, usually when like the nobles are doing something shitty, especially to like commoners, and sort of takes them down a peg, like roughs them up, like fights them, all that sort of thing, while also has like a larger mission that they are trying to accomplish. In the first book, you don't really get any of that. It's not kind of until the second book where they really start focusing in on the fact that there is actually a bigger plot at work, and there's actually stuff that like is maybe causing people in this city to be shitty to each other all the time. And we also find out that like the Rook isn't like an ageless vigilante. It's a title that's passed down. And Rich, this might make a little bit more sense to you. Do you remember in the later seasons of Arrow when they kept adding new heroes. There was that one dude, like Ragman or whatever, where he had basically like the suit of rags that like kind of like formed around him and like obscured him and everything.
Yeah.
It was kind of like that. Like it was like a fabric hood that when he put it on, it kind of like molded to his whole body, but also like obscured his face in a way that like a hood normally wouldn't. So even if you were like right up on him and like looking under it, you would just kind of see the shadows. But then it did something where it allowed him not like direct access to like the past wearers of it, but like their memories and their skills. So like he was more agile, faster, better with a sword than he would have been just on his own. Kind of like All for One. Like every person that has worn the hood kind of like has gotten a little bit stronger from it.
I mean, I would have probably not went with All for One on this instance, and maybe went with like the Avatar more so, because yes, the power always got stronger with All for One, but they never had access to all the powers until recently. Whereas
I'm sorry,
the
it's one
Avatar,
for all.
yeah. But whereas the Avatar, you learned from your past self. Like you were always you always had the ability to be in contact with your past selves.
I never watched Avatar, so.
Well, you should. I think everyone should. I think it's a great series.
Actually, you know what? I watched the first season and I thought it was stupid.
Get past the first season. Like
I spent 22 episodes with a show that was not good. That was plenty.
The next two seasons, like the rest of that season, and honestly, it's, in my opinion, people count, like it goes back and forth. There are people that think Korra is better. There are people that think Last Airbender is better. I personally think Korra is a better series because it's more of a consistent story. And it tackles a lot more deeper topics. However, like Avatar season 2 and 3 are much better than season 1. Much better than season 1. But
we watched the live action, and I thought the live action was fine. But like
I did live action.
I did not enjoy the cartoon like at all. It just wasn't for me.
Well, and they we can get into this. We've been into this before. It's very much monster of the week for the most part with season 1, and then they really start telling the story further into season. Season 2 is when he actually starts like training to try to learn like earth bending and eventually fire bending, and there's a lot of story building and character building throughout the entire series. But like I'm sure there are guides to be like, hey, skip some of these episodes, because some of them just aren't really necessary.
Yeah, probably. But I still kind of stand by my All for One. One for all. I'm so bad about that. Because like even though like yes, it wasn't all of the powers, but generally you got like each wielder of it, like the power itself grew stronger.
Yeah.
So like that is more what I was getting at.
Yeah, I get it. I was more so splitting hairs than anything else. I was being the actually kind of guy. Come on, you need sometimes you need the villain. Sometimes you need a villain.
I mean, you're not wrong, but yeah. So like powers get passed down and all that fun stuff. And yeah, he for the first book and a half, he's like more vigilante, but as time goes on, he kind of so you know who that character is by the end of the first book too. So you actually see more of the relationships between all of the characters developing. And like by the end of the second book, there's actually there's like a good core group of like characters that you're following that all kind of know each other.
Yeah.
So yeah, but
nice.
It was a really good series.
It sounds like a great shonen series.
Honestly, in a lot of ways, like it actually probably would work really well as like an anime, or honestly, it would actually work as like a Netflix series or like an HBO series or something, because it doesn't need a lot of like special effects.
Mm-hmm.
You just kind of need the sets to look right. Most of the other stuff could really be like limited special effects with just like some practical effects, because like the most magical thing are like the couple of times where they end up in like these like dream sequences, so like nothing too crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But
I unfortunately missed like half of your intro to this because Chase was being a grump and I couldn't hear over him.
yeah,
so
it's the main character is a con artist who kind of has just she has a bunch of different personas that she kind of like runs through in the book. And as the book and as the series progress, like she kind of both gets deeper with all of that, but also finds balance with it.
Nice.
So, yeah,
it sounds interesting. It sounds like a decent read. I was trying to find like a general wiki and whatnot while you were talking about it to be able to bring up more questions, but they have a wiki for one of the books, not for the entire series.
Yeah, like it's not like crazy popular, and it's relatively new. Like I think the book 3 came out in 23, I want to say. And the author is actually 2 authors. I one of them is Marie Brennan, who she did a different series about dragons. I cannot remember the other author's name off the top of my head, but like basically they were friends and they co-wrote the series, and the initial, so it's M.A. Carrick is like the pseudonym they used.
Alec Helms.
Thank you. The first name, each of their first names are the 2 first initials, and then they came up with like the last name. But it's cool because like the book has a very like it has a finite conclusion. Like it's not just like left dangling so that they can write a billion books. Everything gets wrapped up in a satisfying way, and as long as like if they wanted to, they could easily like dip back into it and tell different stories. But if they never do, it's not like hurting anything.
Yeah, it's not common with fantasy novels nowadays where like they just wrap up the story. I don't think I've ever heard you talk about a fantasy novel where the story is wrapped up after 2 or 3 books.
That's because so many of them are like 4, 5, 6 book series or more.
What was it? The Wheel of Time is fucking 8 books or some shit, and it's still going or something like that.
No, it's been over for a long time. But yeah, Wheel of Time I believe is 14 total.
Yeah.
And yeah, Robert Jordan wrote the first 10, and then he died, and Brandon Sanderson wrote the last 3 or 4.
And Sanderson's books, he's on like book 5 now.
So book 5 of one series.
Yeah.
But that was like the first story arc though. So he wrote 5 books that are like the first part of Stormlight, and now he's taking like a several year gap before he does like arc 2, which will be set like a generation later or something.
It's crazy. It's like it makes me understand, like thinking about stuff like this makes me understand episodes of like Brooklyn Nine-Nine and stuff like that a little bit more. Or remember, I don't know if you've ever watched through Brooklyn Nine-Nine all the way through, but there was that it was a fantasy writer that Terry Crews's character was all about, and it's like they're constantly coming up with new and more books, and I was like, I couldn't imagine being able, like, I've got story ideas in my head, but I couldn't imagine like sitting here and writing 1,000 pages for them 5 times for just one story. And I know like it's not just one story, but it's like it's crazy. That world is crazy. I don't know what's crazier to me, comic books or fantasy novels.
Yes.
Yeah.
Both.
Exactly.
Both are crazy.
Well, correction. Mainstream comic books or fantasy novels. Because there are comic books out there that do end and aren't crazy. And then you got the Marvels and the DCs that are just bunkers.
All of them kind of go for too long in a lot of cases, though. And like, while I enjoy all of them, like there is just a certain point where you're like, what the fuck are you?
Yeah. And like how many times can you write original stories for properties that like for instance that I have a omnibus for a Doctor Who comic, and it takes place with him as like Tennant, and it's before he came back for like that one special or that short stint. So like this is during his original run. This is supposed to take place during his original run as the Doctor. So it's like how can you just keep writing a more and more original story?
Yeah, exactly.
It's just ridiculous.
But that's all I have to say about it. So
nice.
Yeah.
What would you rate it out of 5 stars or whatever I don't know.
I gave all 3 books. Actually, I gave all 3 books 5 out of 5.
5 out of 5.
Yep.
Nice. I was gonna say 10 corn cobs because your name's Cobb, but that's fine.
Rich, go ahead, talk about Doom. I'm gonna go grab some chairs out of my garage.
Nice. Yeah. Drew, have you played any more Doom since we last talked?
I played like half a chapter more.
Yeah. That's my problem with the game. Like, you can sit there and play for an hour and still be on the same level. And don't get me wrong, I love long games, but this is not, in my opinion, this is not a gameplay that should be long levels.
Yeah.
It's they tried really hard to give the levels an open feel, and that kind of hurt it very much. Even like the last level was open, which was kind of frustrating to me. But it wasn't incredibly open. It was still like kind of a linear path, but like I ended up having to backtrack because of collectibles. But yeah, they just did too much to try to make it feel open, and each level was just way too big. Way too big. And like, I would understand if there's a lot more backtracking, but besides collectibles, there aren't. It's not like, oh, you're going over here, then going back this way, and like, it would make a little bit of sense if, like, okay, the enemies are respawning, or like, as you get to each area, like, they're still there. It's not like, but like, again, the problem is, you kill them, and they never come back.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a couple of levels you're straight up in hell. Like, demons should be spawning left and right against you. Like, it's insane how just like, no, once they're dead, and you don't ever have to fight them ever again.
Which normally would be fine, but like you said, it then just makes all this big space they built feel so empty.
Exactly. Like, and it's like, because, again, like, I'm trying to, like, I need to find all of the wolf statues so I could get that collectible, or I need to find all of this, or I need to find all of that. So I'm running back and forth, and when it's specifically the wolf statues were always a big pain, because I would miss one or two, and then I'd have to go online and find a guide and find where the one is, or where they are, and then go run to them, and they're not always in the same, like, the general area. They're usually spread apart far, and at that point, I have completed all the other objectives. It's just end the level, and I'm just running around doing this shit when you're seeing gunfire go off over here or over there or this or that or whatever happening, and big giant monsters fighting, but you're just like, I'm just going to take a stroll on this battlefield that no one else is on anymore. It's like, it's weird. It's weird. I don't know. I don't remember. Like, were the other two Dooms, were they this open?
No, not at all.
They were just straight line linear, basically.
Eternal, a little bit. Doom 2016 was Doom Eternal was a little more open. 2016 was pretty linear, because if I remember, for the most part, that is like taking place on like a big giant like space station.
Mm-hmm.
So like, there is kind of only so much room there could be, you know. Eternal takes place in some like cities that definitely have, you know, bigger area, but it's also then, you know, puts you into like buildings that only have so much space for you to go, or streets that it's like you have to go on this street because everything else is blocked off or whatever.
Yeah. There are also levels that I just didn't understand why we had to have these as levels. Like, it was there's going to be this whole sequence you get into about going and releasing the old one, because something happens and you have to go find the person. Somebody gets taken and you have to go track that person, but you can't. So you need to release the old one. And to me, it sounded like they were like, oh, you're releasing the old one to get a new weapon. However, you never get a new weapon from that. It ends up turning into you're releasing the old one to be able to track down, get the ability to track down who was taken. And there's like 3 or 4 levels dealing with the old one, and at one point you finally get everything done with dealing with the old, like, all of this stuff, and you're like, all right, now you can take this portal to get to where this person is. And when you go to take the portal, the old one then just eats you, and there's a whole level where you're inside the old one. Why? Like, I don't understand why this was a level. Like, I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. So honestly, I could have just done without the giant mech levels. They're some of the more boring levels of the game.
Yeah, like it was kind of cool the one time. I can imagine it being.
I think it
pointless
happens
again.
a total of 3, maybe 4 times, and like each time they even pop up. You could check out the tutorial of how to play because it had been so long since you did it before.
Yeah.
And the last time you do it, you get to the end of that level, and then it drops you into a boss fight as the Slayer afterwards. And I forgot the controls of how to be the Slayer because I just did a whole level in a giant fucking mech. So I'm sitting here trying to dodge using jump, and it's not slowing down time dodging. And it took me a good couple of hits where I'm like, oh right, I need to right click to block, not dodge, because the Slayer doesn't have a dodge ability. So I was just like, that was kind of annoying. But yeah, I could have just they were boring, monotonous, like lame levels. The dragon levels are a little bit better. The dragon controls fine. I think those happen a couple of like 3 or 4 times as well. 2 or 3 times, something like that. It's at least 3 times. They're better. They're a little bit more entertaining. But it's still like the whole, because not everything gets marked on your mini map or on your map. There's not even a mini map. Because everything, even secrets, aren't marked on your map, then it's a lot of flying around trying to find what you did and didn't get. When you get to the end, it's like, oh, I still have these collectibles. To 100% the game, just play through it all and do all the things. You don't need to play it on a harder difficulty. You don't need to beat it every level on the hardest difficulty or anything. You just literally play through the game and do all the objectives, both the masteries, collect everything, like just do it all. 100. You don't even technically. You don't have to 100% every level either, because it's because the 100% also gets counted towards the gold you collect. So you don't have to collect all the gold. You just have to collect. You have to collect enough to be able to buy all the upgrades to get all the achievements. And then once you have all the upgrades bought that cost gold, you don't really need the gold anymore. So you don't actually have to find all the gold. You do have to do all the the challenges, or there's when you fully upgrade a weapon, you unlock a mastery challenge, which is like use the most powerful ability to deal X amount of damage, or do this, do that. Like you eventually get a rocket launcher, and the rocket launcher, its base ability is when you block an attack, your rocket launcher now, if you get hit with self-damage from the rocket damage, you will then heal that damage and not take it. So its mastery challenges: heal 100 points or 600 points of damage with rocket blowback, basically.
Okay.
And like different things like that. The one weapon I slept on, which I honestly highly suggest, like the best loadout in this game, is the flail with the accelerator. The accelerator is the first laser gun you get.
Okay.
Because when you max out the accelerator, it fills up a bar and it's overcharged.
Right.
And it deals extra damage. And as long as you're hitting enemies with it, it's dealing damage. Once you stop hitting enemies with it, and that's actually not even the highest upgrade. It's just like one of the first upgrades. But once you stop hitting enemies with it, or when you stop shooting it, the overcharge in the charge meter disappears. But if you keep shooting it, the charge meter slowly disappears. So keep shooting enemies. And if you hit things with the flail, you get ammo back. So literally, once I found out how good the accelerator was, I just shot with the accelerator, and you can like block while still shooting, and it won't take away any of the bar when you're done blocking. You can hit with the flail while still shooting, and like minimal amount of the bar will go down, so that you're almost always in overcharge. And you're just always dealing extra damage, and you never have to stop shooting if you're using the flail properly and dealing enough melee damage to refill your ammo. It was like initially my go-to was to throw the shield and then use the rapid fire nail gun to bounce projectiles off of it.
Mm-hmm.
But and it was near the end of the game when I found this out. Once I found out about the accelerator, I was like, this is better. This is just better. Like, it's so strong. It shoots so fast. and if you're playing properly, you constantly have ammo. It was so good. The worst, in my opinion, the worst weapons in the games are the skull weapons. I think they're shit. I think they absolutely suck.
Mm-hmm.
I
never use it.
One of my favorite weapons to use is the chain shot, especially when you can have it like fully upgraded, where if you block a green blast, it's full charge. Your next shot is full charge. And when it's fully upgraded to the final point, a full charge shot will do splash damage around the enemy.
Okay.
So, like, if you're fighting, especially like a melee enemy that's going to attack a lot, and you'll encounter a lot of them, you block, shoot, block, shoot, block, shoot, block, shoot when they're in a combo. And wait until that combo's done, they'll stagger after doing the combo, and then you can get a couple hits with the flail and refill your ammo. And it does a lot of damage. It's a very strong weapon. That enemy that we were complaining about last week that has the orb around it, I learned how to fight it. You have to stay close to it.
Oh, you know what? Oh no, I did kill the second time you fight it.
Yeah, it was you.
I was gonna say that's where I ended playing last time, but I think I got past it.
Yeah, you have to stay close to him. Block and that's one of that's when they start teaching you how important it is to block, how important it is to stay close and use melee. And like again, another problem is melee is limited to 3, 4, 5 hits depending on your weapon and whatnot. Like if you have fully maxed out fists, you could do 4, up to 4, maybe 5, I think. If you have the flail, it's generally 3 to 4 hits. And if you get a mace near the end of the game, the mace is a single hit, but it's a very high damage mace that also does splash damage. If you block when you have a charge available for your mace, you get an additional charge at max level. So it's just, it's just once you reach a certain point and you have certain weapons and you have your loadout, you're not really going to do much else. The only reason I tried every weapon is because I found out there were the mastery challenges. And I was like, all right, I guess I got to do these. It gave me something to do make the game a little bit more fun. And it's unfortunate because the game really started to get fun near the end.
Well, it's good that it got more fun, but
it took me 15 hours to get there.
You're not wrong.
Like, it took so long for it to actually be fun. Like, and because it's an arcade arena shooter style, the enemies become the bosses become enemies. So throughout most of the game, the bosses you're encountering are just basic enemies you're going to encounter later. And so they can't make them that hard or that fun or that difficult, I guess. I really wish they'd focused more on better boss mechanics so that more one-time bosses. Because the last couple of levels, like the last 3 or 4 levels, last 3 levels have really specific boss mechanics that are very fun. Like I think it's the third to last boss. It was one of the most fun bosses I've ever fought in that game, let alone in many games, because there's a lot going on and there's a lot to have to track and watch for, and you have a lot that you can try to figure out and do, and it was just really cool. And then the 2 final boss fights, they were fine, but they were primarily melee focused, which really frustrated me because a lot of the game was built around the shield, which blocking the enemy's melee attacks, you get you fill up your melee attack and whatnot, but it doesn't do any of the melee rune charges, which I don't think you've unlocked. Eventually, your melees your blocking when you block a ranged attack will do a thing. So, for instance, it'll one of the blocks is it'll do a shockwave in front of you. Another block, it'll send a bunch of daggers. The one I used, if you block, it pulls out an auto turret from your side and shoots at the enemies in front of you. It shoots at the enemy, it'll focus in on an enemy, and it's a really strong autocannon at the max level. The third one is it's a judgment bolt, basically, and it's a chain lightning in front of you or something. But it's because you have to block hell blasts, And even though technically the green melee attacks are hell blasts, they're not actual blasts, so it's not activating half this game basically, half the thing that you're supposed to be able to do with your shield. And I was like, that's lame. Like I'm constantly like the final boss was constantly at like a 3 to 4 hit combos that I'm blocking each one perfectly, and my gun's not coming out or anything like that. And it's like, well, this sucks. I still hate the fact that like to change melee weapons you have to go into the menu.
Yeah.
I think I wish they found a better way to do that.
You would think, especially on PC, like I sort of get it on console, you're limited to how many buttons you have, but PC, like...
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, like, because it was right bumper to open up your... Or left bumper, or right bumper to open up your radial wheel. You probably could have just, like, bumper, hit the stick, pick your melee weapon. But because it all used the same ammo, I guess it made sense. So, like, there should have been just, like... I don't know what the melee weapon input is on controls.
R3.
R3? Okay. Which that's kind of rough, too, because clicking in R3 when you're doing 3 melee attacks in a row or something like that, that's not comfortable. The clicking in the control sticks, I don't really like doing it. I know it's a button, but like it's not the most, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah. No.
But yeah, so I beat it. The story was fine. Like I said, as long as you 100 or near 100% every level, you collect all the collectibles, you do all the challenges, you're gonna 100. You're gonna get. I got 1,000 out of 1,000 gamer score. Like I 100%ed I platinum the game by accident. That's just because that's how I play games. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I'm happy I'm done it. I got a little bummed out. I tried to marathon it on Monday, but by like hour 7 or 8, my PC just wasn't having it anymore. Like the game was playing mostly fine for me. There were times where like I would block something, or like my gun wouldn't show up in my hand, or like the auto turret wouldn't show up, but I would still hear it shooting and see the burst, like the fire, like the muzzle blast, but the gun wouldn't be there. Stuff like that would happen, but for the most part, the game was running fine, but my stream just couldn't handle it. So I had to stop for the night, because like the game is very resource heavy, because a lot of the levels are just that damn big. And there's so much in each level, and there's like so much going on that like my computer was having a hard time. It was at a constant 100% CPU, which is like that's where it's at with Monster Hunter. But I never had an issue with my long Monster Hunter streams. This one I was getting an issue with it. But yeah, it was it's the game's fine. Maybe one day I'll play the other Dooms. Maybe they're all on Game Pass, I think, so it's fine. But I'm just I'm happy I'm done it. I'm happy I wouldn't say I'm happy I played it, but I'm happy I played it, kind of thing. Like I'm no. Great. I played it. It was, but wasn't what I expected. It was more disappointing than what I was hoping for. But it's if you like this style of gameplay, you'll like it. But based on your review, Drew, it's not as good as the previous ones, so you might not like it as much, kind of thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope you like the rest of it.
I'll get around to finishing it at some point. There's been, I mean, I haven't had a lot of free time lately. Like I was down the shore most of last week.
It's and the story, honestly, the story is, I mean, I guess it's Doom, so the story just really doesn't matter. And like I said, there were levels that I was just so confused on, and I'm trying to pay attention to the story, and there's like 5 or 6 levels that really in the middle of the game that I'm just like, half of this doesn't. It could have all been like, some of these are just too long, or half of these just didn't need to be here. I don't get why this is a level, or especially the robot parts. Like I'm sure they're like, yeah, we can't just create a mechanic for one level, so we have to make multiple robot levels. But each robot level, they incorporate a different mechanic that then doesn't get played in fully for the next level. So the first level you learn about fighting as a robot, and then the next robot level, you get a minigun halfway through. And then he gets rid of that minigun. And then the last level after that, you get a minigun during one of the sections, and then he throws it off. and you don't use it the rest of the time. But you also get a third combo meter move. But that's the last robot level, so it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fine. I don't know. I've been struggling to figure out what I want to play next. Not quite struggling, but like I've been playing with the idea. So Hollow Knight Silk Song comes out tomorrow, the 4th. I'm not going to be able to get that right away. I don't know when I'm going to be able to get that, but I'm not going to be able to get it on the 4th. But like I kind of feel like I should replay through Hollow Knight and actually try to go for the true ending of Hollow Knight, because I've only ever done the basic ending. And then there's actually like 3 full endings. But one of them, the third one, like doesn't fully matter. You get the same ending. It's just a little add-on to it. And that's when you do like a bunch of stuff with like the DLC or something. I can't fully remember. But like there's fighting the Hollow Knight, the final boss. And then once you beat the Hollow Knight, there's a sequence where you can go into its like soul and fight an enemy called the Radiance, which is an incredibly hard fight where it's a combination of the platforming style, Metroidvania style, like combat that game is, as well as like bullet hell kind of. And it's just a lot of like timing and dodging and knowing when to heal and knowing where to go and knowing how to hit it. And then there's like the third phase is fighting it on smaller platforms, and then that's the second phase is fighting on smaller platforms, and then the third phase is like jumping up and dodging its attacks as you're jumping up to get higher, and it's hard. So that, and there's also what's called the Path of Pain, which is just like a big platforming section that I'm just like, I don't think I've done the Path of Pain. I'm sure I would know if I've done the Path of Pain. I don't think I have, but I'm like, should I give these both a try? And like, should I try to give them the college try? Should I replay through the game again and try the Path of Pain and beat Radiance, like work on beating Radiance? I don't know if I want to do that though. So I want to do Expedition 33, and I think that's what's going to be next.
Yeah,
but I'm just like, I kind of want to do Hollow Knight because of Silk Song coming out tomorrow.
Yeah, but you should play the thing you want to play.
Don't get me wrong.
The thing you feel obliged to play.
Don't get me wrong. I love Hollow Knight. I want to play Hollow Knight. I want to play on both. But I know
you said before that you don't always enjoy doing like brand new games on stream because it kind of like, because you don't have like the viewership, like you just get buried because everyone's playing it. So like do Expedition 33 first, and then like dip into Hollow Knight in like a month when like it slowed down a little bit and it's not like the thing that everyone's talking about.
Yeah, that's probably what I like. That's what it is. I don't know though, because I don't know how long it's going to take for me to beat Expedition 33. Because
it's long, but it's not like insanely long. And I think for how quickly you've gotten through some other,
I mean, I expect
RPGs.
It to take at least all of September. I don't know if I'm going to have a lot of time to do many like extended long streams.
Right.
Seeing as how we're
100%ing the game is average about 65 hours.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I mean, I know, Mister, you're so loud. Yeah, like I'm trying to figure out, because October, I have to figure out whatever I'm going to do spooky for October. Still, I've been racking my brain trying to figure out what I want to do for Halloween games. I just can't think of a good theme.
Play games that scare you. Platformer.
No, that's not scary. That's just games that I'm not good at.
It's close enough.
But like I was playing with the idea of doing like a mascot horror throughout the month and doing like Five Nights at Freddy's and things like that. But like there's a lot of Five Nights at Freddy's games, and I don't have that kind of money to buy them all. Most of them are kind of all the same. And they're just the whole like survive till morning while you're in a single room and you're watching the cameras kind of shit. But I don't know yet. I was also thinking of doing The Forest, but that's not incredibly scary. That's just body horror, so it's not really horror. Well, Sons of the Forest. I did The Forest my first Halloween. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out what I want to play now that I know I'll have time to also play in October. Like I'll be able to do some sort of Halloween games in October, and I don't know, nothing's standing out to me. I think I should just look up general horror and just find like some horror games I've never played before, but find it like a monster theme or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, and there are a ton of indie horror games. Like you could absolutely find a couple things to play.
I thought about doing zombies, but like I basically did that with Dead October 2 years ago.
Yeah, like you should look and see like what sort of like indie horror games there are out there. Like don't like theme it around like a specific type of horror. Like theme it around indie horror.
I also thought about like I would love to do like dinosaur horror, but I don't think there's many dinosaur horror games. But maybe now I'm thinking about it.
Indie horror. If you plan out what you're playing ahead of time and try and reach out to the developers, they might share your streams or something like that.
Yeah.
Like if you're like true indie games, like not games that like pretend to be indie.
I might look into like there's this game called Don't Mess with Bober, it's a beaver horror game. Like it's a horror game where you're living in a cabin and a beaver is the villain and it's like very indie, recently released. So I might look into like just quote animal horror, because there's a game came out this year called Zoocosis, which you're a zookeeper and it's a haunted zoo kind of thing. I don't know, maybe that might be interesting. I'll figure it out. I still have to think about it.
Yeah, you got time. It's only the 3rd of September.
Yeah.
Do we got anything else we need to talk about this week though?
No, not unless you have anything else you want to talk about.
No. So I believe that is going to be a show for this week then.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, if you'd like to find more of our content, you can head over to www.one-quest.com. You can also help us out by supporting us at patreon.com/onequest. Can't support us every dollars though. You can go to your favorite podcast platform, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Spotify, rate us, review us, subscribe to us. Those things all help a bunch. You can also find us on social media, facebook.com/onequestonline, at @1_quest on Instagram and Twitter, and at one-quest.com on Blue Sky. And you can always send us an email to social@one-quest.com. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com/onequestvideo. And Rich, what is your streaming looking like this week?
Twitch.tv/b_walnuts for video game streaming, Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays, where I'm gaming and playing whatever I feel like Monster Hunter and Sea of Thieves. Guys, you should come out, hang out on this Thursday, Sea of Thieves on the 4th, where it is week 4 of the season, and we will be reaching level 100 of the season. Nice. Which is wild. It usually takes us, the seasons are roughly about 12 weeks. Usually takes us about 8 to 10 weeks to reach level 100. But the way they changed up the season progress, we got everything done for the first third of the season on week 1 and got more than halfway through the season. So we'll be reaching level 100 and getting basically free stuff because they give us enough money after the first time we paid for it to buy the season pass each month.
Nice.
Yeah, it's the only game I ever bought a season pass for. I put $10 into it and I've gotten like $80 worth of content out of that.
You know what though? Even if you bought the season pass each season, you play that so regularly. Like I think even that $10 like a season or whatever would probably be worth it.
I mean, the only reason I have Game Pass is for Sea of Thieves. For the most, like I just played Doom and I'll be playing Expedition 33, but most months the only thing I'm playing on Game Pass is Sea of Thieves.
Okay, well that's fair.
So I pay a subscription to play one game that I could have bought once for $60. And I don't think I can transfer my login like if I were to buy it on Steam. So I either have to buy it on Xbox Live or like buy it on the Xbox Store or just always have Game Pass.
Yeah, I honestly don't know about that.
I don't know if it has like account transfer, so I can't send it from PC to Steam. So I'm either gonna have to buy it on Xbox or always have Game Pass, which I'm fine with always having Game Pass. That's the one subscription service I've said I always want to have because there's a lot available.
Doing just the PC one for $10 really isn't bad, even if you only dip into it. Like you're playing a game on every month and then dipping into it when other stuff comes out. Like at least you're not just. It's not like when you were subscribed to Final Fantasy 14 for 4 years and not playing it.
Yeah. Yeah, I play Sea of Thieves once a week, so
Yeah, exactly.
I get my $10 a month out of it.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that will do it for this week. So we'll be back next week with something else to talk about. Thanks for listening. Bye.
See ya.
Bye.